Hey everyone, Roger Haskett here. We're talking about how to set up your remote office and in particular video conferencing and video communication. So I've been talking about what are the details for you, like what are the things to be thinking about, where to look, how to manage yourself, how to manage your space and your setup, how to do it 1, 2, 3, super easy. So we're talking about all those things. What we haven't talked about is why you want to push as many of your communications onto video as possible. Actually, let me rephrase that. Why you want to push as many of the video, as much of your communication as you want in certain areas onto video. Because there are going to be times where you don't want to be on video, right? There's going to be times where you haven't had a shower, where things are crazy behind you, where your setup for your office has been taken over by a fort from your kids or whatever. Or let's say you're, one of my clients is working at home and sharing their dining room with their kid who's in university taking their online courses with their husband who's working at home as well, with their other kid who's in high school who's needed. So you might not have this ability. I have a home office because I work out of my home office and have done so for my whole life, my whole working life. But you might not have that option. So there are times where you won't want to have video, where you're going to be like, sorry, I'm not able to do video today because of the situation here or the background. But when you want to really communicate, when you really want your best communication efforts to be on display, what you really want is to get video involved. Now, you might be thinking, not for me, I don't like the way I look, and I don't, people don't need to see my face. That is your issue talking inside your head. Because for humans, we know that face-to-face communication is far more effective, far more valuable, far more rich, far deeper than communication that does not involve visual. They've done lots of studies. We know this, I believe. Lots and lots of studies about how important body language is to communication. And when you actually are face-to-face, body language accounts for something like 75% of your communication. The number isn't important. What matters is that it's so much, that the vast majority of your communication happens as a human by the way we're moving through this world. More important than the words that you say are even the way that you say the words, like the way your voice goes up and down. Your actual words that are coming out of your mouth, the thing that we put all of our attention onto, is the smallest part of what communication is when you're face-to-face. I teach this to actors. So when I taught actors, this is what I would talk about. I would talk about how valuable, how important it is to get your body harmonized in communication. So your body and your brain are harmonized so that when you're communicating, you're fully communicating as much as you possibly can using every resource that you possibly can. Because let's face it, communication is challenging. Communication between people who agree on things is challenging, let alone for people who are trying to find out if they agree or trying to figure out how to agree. Right? So these are realities for humans. We want to be on face-to-face communication. We want to be using face-to-face communication as much as we possibly can in the most important areas where you want it. It's up to you to decide, this is not where I communicate face-to-face. Or it's up to you to decide, I'm going to stay seated during this communication, or I'm going to stay seated for part of it and then get up. Or I'm going to use this system where I'm up and my whole body's involved right from the beginning. Because guess what? This communication I'm having with my team, massively important. Here's another little tip. If you're not having daily Zoom meetings with your immediate team, what are you doing? Right? This is what you need to be doing. So back to the overarching concern here, which is, do we have video conferencing, like a video, or do I just do it by phone or do it, without the camera hookup? So ultimately, up to you, clearly, obviously, but what you want to be putting into your brain is this important communication? Is this moment an important communication moment? And what I do right now, is it really important for our team? Is it really important for our alignment? Is it important for our focus? Is it whatever? If it's important, then figure out how to get your body involved. Because your team is going to respond so much better to your communication if it's done this way than if it's just done this way. Right? unless you decide not to do it, in which case you decide, I'm not going to show all this. Instead, I'm just going to be on the phone. I have lots of phone calls. We do lots of great business over phone calls. But is it the preferred method when I have a video option and when this call is massively important? Well, then, no, I would argue that you want video. And if you want video, it means that it needs to be easy setup, 1, 2, 3. It means that you need to get all of these things like we've been talking about out of your way, what your wardrobe is. Like you can't be going, oh, I got a video call in 5 minutes. I got to go all the way downstairs and I got to go through my closet and figure out what is going to look good today and what, blah, blah. Too late, right? It's got to be here. It's got to be like, so on my next video, I'm going to do a video of the room, because what is happening is that this looks like, look, this room looks nice. Like, look, there's a chair over here. There's a door with nice things on it. There's books over there. There's pictures, all these wonderful things. But everywhere else, almost everywhere else, is mess. Because this is one of the things that I learned as a performer, as an actor, is that where the camera's pointing is pristine, and 50 people are working to make that spot look brilliant. But you turn it around just a little bit, you turn it just slightly, like just a quarter of an inch, you turn the camera, and all of a sudden it's like cut, because there's all this crap that's in that you can see everywhere. That's what my office is like. Most likely that's sort of what your office is like, right? We're all remote, we're all juggling how to pull all of our business back home. Where do we put it all? So it's not about not having mess. It's not about going, look at, I'm so clean, everything is awesome. It's just about not having mess in the spots that are important, right? I mean, this is sort of what life is like, isn't it? That's a Rogers rule, isn't it? It just makes sure that wherever you have the mess, it's where it should be and not where it shouldn't be. I really believe in mess. Man, it's all in my book. I talk about it all the time. I believe in mess. I'm a creative guy. I don't see how creativity happens without mess. I just don't get it. So for me, mess is not a problem. All right, people, Roger Haskett. This is way longer again than it should have been. We're talking about how to set up your office for remote communication and video communication, and we're talking about why you want it, because boy, do you ever want it. That's it.